So what we want to do with this next video is to walk through a basic installation of Suse Linux Enterprise Server version 12 Service Pack 1. So what I've done to date is I've mounted, well, I built the virtual VM according to our handout. We've got 2 gig of RAM, 1 CPU, 20 gigabytes of storage, all of the network card, the DevNet network cards configured. And having done all that, I booted off of the disk 1. It actually is 2 DVDs you can download, but just disk 1 is needed for installation. So I booted off of it as we've done our other installations, and here's the first screen. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here we go. We've come up to our initial screen, and this is where we agree to the license term. Now, SUSE Linux Enterprise Server, or they refer to as SLES, SLES is a purchased product, and if you were using it in an enterprise, you would most likely be purchasing a license for it. If you didn't want to purchase a license, you would go with their other family. It's called OpenSUSE, and OpenSUSE is tracks SLES. They just like Fedora is with Red Hat, and these vendors that have Linux that you pay for, they have a non-paid for version, and it's not meant to be as reliable. It tends to be more cutting edge, ahead of the game, and then as they develop and have you and I practice with that open version like OpenSUSE or Fedora for Red Hat, things get tweaked and tuned and finalized, and then they get confidence in it, and then those become integrated into their purchase products. The screen that we're looking at here is the network settings screen, and there's actually a lot of things that we could do during the installation that I'm going to have us do post installation. We could assign the IP address here. We could install packages. We could do a bunch of stuff. So let me just keep moving through this here. But if we wanted to assign the IP address as part of the installation, we would have done it on that screen. Here is where we would set up to use our registration code, having purchased a license, and because we're just testing and learning on this, we're going to skip the registration. Same here with this. We can go through defaults. You can install from a network. There's a lot of flexibility. Okay. This is a screen that's very, very busy, but what it is here is that in Linux, we don't use drive letters, we use partitions. And you take a hard drive, and it's common, actually. It's common as you study Linux to break it up into not just install everything onto one partition. You create a partition for the swap file. You create a partition often for the root user's home directory. You tend to split it up, and if we were to go through all this, we'd see that that's what's been done for us. And we have the option then to edit that or to go in and make changes, ourselves, and the defaults that were proposed. Our time zone, looking for Los Angeles, is for Pacific time. I grab that. Also, again, you have the option here of setting your network time protocol server, but we're going to save all that for post installation. So here's where we create our initial user account, and the full name here is just a display name, so we're going to go with site root. Let's do root is always lowercase, and then it gave us that site root. For the password, we're going to use our predefined password. And again, okay, here's the important checkbox to note that the account that we're creating here is going to have system administrator privileges. We could also let it log in, and then normally you would do this as well. You would say that this account is intended to receive system mail. System mail is kind of like events from the event log, notifying you and telling you that there's things are good or things are not good. Another important screen here, this is where we would define what software to install. And now if you're doing OpenSUSE, then OpenSUSE puts a whole bunch of stuff here, and you have to decide, am I installing a server, am I installing a desktop, and you'd come and pick and choose. Where we've installed SLES, it is defaulted to installing a server. But if we look at the list here, a lot of the things again that are in our to-do list are here. We could initiate them right from here, like DNS DHCP server, a Apache web server, all this kind of stuff. But again, to get through the video is going to be long as it is. We're just going to go with defaults here. Just want to give you a look around. Lots of options here. With Linux, you have different environments you can boot into. You can boot into a command environment, different graphical environments. What are we going to do with the firewall? And again, while a lot of this stuff would be handy to change now, my goal is just to get us through the default installation, and then we'll come back and pick this stuff up in separate videos. This is going to go on for a while, and so we'll pause the video and then pick back up when it's done. Alrighty, what the delay, or having started back up the video, we went through the progress bar. Looks like it took about 6 or 7 minutes, and there was no other interaction required. Didn't have to enter any information, just watch the installation progress, and now it's rebooted. And this is our standard screen, our user account we created. So we would click on this and enter our password. And there you go. Just as a quick introduction, we get to our menu from down here. We get to places from down here. And the key tool that we use is a tool called YAST. YAST is a graphical installation tool. It's really a great tool. And the other key tool that we often use is the one for getting to the terminal. Let's see if we can find that here. That would be this one, the GNOME terminal. So I'm going to wrap up this video and even see if I can cut out some stuff and shorten it down a bit. And then there's a lot more yet to do here. We still need to set up the firewall. We need to set up DNS and DHCP and an Apache server and a Samba server for file shares. A lot to do here, but I just wanted to get a video out there so that we could go through the initial